Hello, and welcome back to Panzer Knights. We're gonna go on to the Battle of Kursk, but first off, get some summer camouflage. We have a Tiger 131. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's the one they have at Bovington. But that was captured in North Africa, not Kursk. So, now, the Ferdinand is a tank that was included in the same, like DLC package I got the mouse in. And it is actually accurate for Kursk. So, let's put my crew in the Ferdinand. And let's take it for a spin. There we go. Let's see how this works. Hope we don't get flanked. Battle of Kursk. The launch of the German offensive Operation Citadel on July 5th, 1943 marks the beginning of the Battle of Kursk, which had the objective of pinching off the Kursk salient with attacks on the base of the salient from north and south simultaneously. The Germans hoped to weaken the Soviets by cutting off and enveloping the forces that they anticipated would be in the Kursk salient and reassert German strength in Russia. Although the Soviet preemptive artillery bombardment delayed the German formations, it failed to disrupt the German schedule, nor did it inflict substantial losses. Along the southern face, the German attack commenced with a preliminary bombardment. Main attack was delivered by 4th Panzer Army, which was organized into densely concentrated spearheads. By the end of July 8th, the Germans had broken through the 1st and 2nd defensive belts. On 9th of July, the first German units reached the Sel River. The next day, the 1st German infantry crossed the river. Despite the deep defensive system and minefields deployed by the Soviets, German tank losses remained lower than the Soviets. In the northern phase, it had become clear that the German High Command that the 9th Army lacked the strength to obtain a breakthrough, but nonetheless will be maintaining the pressure on the Soviets in order to aid the southern offensive. By 10th of July, the Soviets had completely halted the German advance in the north. At this point, the German turned the 2nd SS Panzer Corps, or is that 11th? SS Panzer Corps away from Obayan to attack towards the northeast in the direction of Prokhorovka. The plan was to strike southeast into the flank and rear of Soviet forces. The German forces reached the outskirts of Prokhorovka village on July 12th. What? What's the matter? The Leibstandarte Adolf Hitler reported sightings of many tanks. The Soviet tanks had massed ahead of us. How did this happen? Has our plan been leaked? Again? The Leibstandarte were not expected to go into action until later today. Just how many of them are there? Our outposts all across the frontage fired purple warning flares. It's the signal for a tank attack. At least 5 Soviet tank brigades just charged down from the slopes in front of Prokhorovka towards Leibstandarte's position. Then, fortune favors the bold. Prokhorovka must be taken. Jawohl. 60,000 medals. Okay. I could actually have gotten that other Tiger, but now we're driving the Ferdinand. Yeah, Prokhorovka. Alright. There we go. Start. Prokhorovka. Players of World of Tanks will know that map. Earlier, while troops were on the move, the tide is turning against us. The Ivans seem to have a full grasp of our movements. That preemptive bombardment before we could launch our attack was too precise in timing to be a coincidence. The attack front was also heavily fortified with the defense in depth, designed to wear down armored spearhead. That's why we were ordered to attack from the right flank. Stop thinking about this too much. Have you guys read Clausewitz? Most intelligence is false, and the effect of fear is to multiply lies and inaccuracies. As a rule, most men would rather believe bad news than good, and rather tend to exaggerate the bad news. Anyway, what do you all want to do after this war is over? I'd rather not talk about it. If we don't win this war, the Bolsheviks will be left to do whatever they want with you, and there's nothing you can do about it. We're almost there. Stay sharp. Okay. Come on, Ferdinand. Let's take a look at the map. Yeah, it seems familiar in layout. Okay, Ferdinand is a bit slow. Oh. Suddenly tanks teleporting in. One of them knows secret. What's the matter? Look at this. What did you bring? I know nothing of this, and don't talk to me. You'll be done for if any off. Okay, I missed. It went too fast. No, enemy tanks are spotted to our front. Here they come. It's a mess. We got some tanks on our side here. I hope my allies can take care of that. And a BT-7 closing in. I should be focusing on the big tanks. Bad angle. Yeah, I think going with the Tiger would have been better. But this is not too bad. T-34-85s should be my top priority. And of course the KV-2, not to be taken lightly. Out of my angle.
敵の戦車を発見。
目標に照準。
装填よし。いつでも撃てます。敵の戦車を発見。敵の戦車が出現。敵の戦車を発見。攻撃準備よし。
発砲。
敵の車両を発見。装填よし。いつでも撃てます。
Another kill.
敵の戦車が出現。
And now I'm turning my back to the entire enemy offensive right now.
敵の戦車が出現。弾薬を装填しました。
車両は損傷しました。
目標を破壊。やったぞ。交代する。
行動せよ。
弾薬を装
補給物
填しました。
資を空中投下するんだ。
Let's miss. Bad shot. Yeah, keep just driving into
弾薬を砲弾の補充が完了しました。次の弾を早く。
my friendly tanks.
一発命中。
開始します。
敵の戦車が出現。装填よし。敵の戦車を発見。
これでも食ら
装填が遅いぞ。早く。装填完了。目標を撃破しました。準備よし。
え。発砲。
One more into this KV2 unless someone else kills it first.
装填よし。目標を破壊。いつでも撃てます。やったぞ。装填完了。敵の戦車を発見。敵の戦車が出現。装填よし。いつでも撃てます。
敵軍がここまで多いとは。
敵の車両を発見。
T-3485. That's a priority target.
弾薬を装填しまして目標を破壊。やったぞ。
目標を撃破しました。
装填よし。いつでも撃てます。敵の車両を発見。目標を撃破しました。弾薬を準備しています。目標を撃破しました。
Basically just firing on reload here. It is quite the shooting
装填よ
gallery.
し。いつでも撃てます。
報告します。
Went off target.
味方が目標戦車を撃破しました。
敵の戦車を発見。
この一
弾薬を
発は必
敵の戦車を
ず
発見。
回収させてあげる。
戦車を撃破しました。装填よし。敵の車両を発見。止まってください。
You're welcome.
敵の車両を発見。装填よし。いつでも撃てます。砲弾目標を撃破しました。弾薬を装填しました。味方が目標戦車を撃破しました。
面白い。
敵の戦車を
この一
発
発は
見。
必ず目標に命中させてあげる。
They just keep coming,
この
don't
一
they?
発は必ず目標に命中させてあ
装
げる。
填完了。攻撃準
目標に
備よし。
照準。素晴らしい。
一発命中。弾薬を装填しました。
目標に命中。よ
We
ーし。
keep knocking them out.
敵の戦車を発見しました。準備しています。
Oh! Right.
弾薬を装填しました。敵の戦車を発見。敵の戦車を発
Another
見。
KV2. It's
敵
dead.
の戦車が出現。
目標に照準。
弾薬を砲弾装填中。
あの走行は面白い。この一発は必ず目標に命
弾薬を装
中させてあげる。
填しました。弾薬を装填しました。一発命中。
Poor little
敵の車両を
T-26.
発見。敵の戦車が出現。装填完了。攻撃準備よし。
装填を開始します。
装填完了。攻撃準備よし。
発射。
目標を撃破しま
敵の
した。
戦車が出現。
Another
弾薬を
follow-up
装填
round.
しました。一発命
Kill
中
it.。
敵の戦車が出現。
味方が目標戦車を撃破しました。
装填敵の戦車が出現。攻撃10砲弾。敵の戦車を発見。弾薬 転しました。目標を撃破しました。目標を撃破しました。装填完了。砲撃準備よし。装填が遅いぞ。早く。目標を撃破しました。
Guy needs another hit.
装填よし。装填が遅いぞ。いつでも撃てます。早く。目標を破壊。やったぞ。装填よし。いつでも撃てます。敵の車両を発見。装填よし。いつでも撃てます。敵の戦車が出現。目標を撃破しました。
思い知れ、この一発は必ず目標に命中させてあげる。
Luckily, my allies seem to be
この一発
capable
は必ず
of
目標に発砲。
taking some of these out.
敵の戦車を発
Actually,
見。
platoon, go to wedge
目標を
formation.
撃破しました。弾薬を装填しました。
I think that was already dead. So we're down to APCR now.
弾薬を装填しました。
敵は大勢います。
敵の戦車が出現。敵の戦車が出現。
That works.
敵の戦車が出現。弾薬を装填しました。
素晴らしい。
装填よし。いつでも撃てます。
The BT7s, I think I'm just gonna
目標
ignore.
を破壊。やったぞ。敵の戦車を発見。装填よし。いつでも撃てます。報告します。装填よし。いつでも撃てます。敵の戦車を発見。
Is there not much of a threat to me or my Tiger platoon?
敵の車両を発見完了。砲撃準備よし。
There is this guy, but
敵の戦車を発見。
he was an easy target.
弾薬を装填しました。
これでも食ら
目標を撃破しました。敵の戦車を発見。止まれ。敵の戦車が出現。装填が遅いぞ。装填よ早く。いつでも敵の戦車が出現。敵の戦車を発見。
Get some more supplies.
応答せよ。
弾薬を装填しま
補
した。
給物資を空中投下するんだ。
敵の車両を発見。装填が遅いぞ。早く。敵の車両を発見。いつでも撃てます。砲弾の補充が完了しました。
これでも食らえ。
装填を開始。
Now we're back to AP.
次の弾を早く。弾薬を装填しました。敵の戦車が出現。弾薬を装填しました。発射。報告します。一発命中。味方が目標戦車を撃破しました。装填完了。砲撃準備よし。目標を撃破しました。
目標を撃破しました。
We're getting more waves of enemies coming in.
敵の戦車を発見。
報告します。味方が目標戦車を撃破しました。
装填よし。目標を撃破しました。敵の戦車が出現。完了。砲撃準備よし。弾薬を装填しました。敵の戦車が出現。装填完了。砲撃準備よし。
Okay, finish the battle is behind us.
目標を撃破しました。
目標戦車の向きに注意してください。
敵の戦車を発見。装填完了。
So I'm just gonna reverse while firing.
応答せよ。
弾薬を装
マーク
填しました
した地点。に爆撃支援を。
敵の戦車が出現。敵の戦車を発見。目標を撃破しました。
wonder if these are just endless respawns.
弾薬を装填しました。目標を撃破しました。弾薬を装填しました。砲弾装填中。
目標に
装填
照準。
よし。いつでも撃てます。
目標を撃破しました。応答せよ。マークした地点に爆撃
Gonna
支援を。
throw artillery at where I think the enemy is gonna drive. Come on. You're not that fat. There we go. Engine didn't catch fire. Gasp. What have we gone through? This is surreal. Ich glaube, ich spinne. How is this happening? And what's with that mast? It's like the Ivans got more tanks than we've got shells. Is everyone alright? Did we win? I suppose so, although we seem to have lost quite a few vehicles, but at a glance almost all the wreckage are of Soviet tanks. Still can't believe what just happened. I can't feel the victory at all right now. None. Ich auch nicht. Me neither. Report. It's the Oberkommando Wehrmacht. Don't worry, take your time. It appears that the Soviets had fallen back. Oberkommando Wehrmacht ordered us to have vehicles that are still able to move to return and wait further notice. Yeah, so that was the Battle of Kursk. Kind of not really that interesting of a mission compared to some of the ones we've been through. The Battle of Kursk was one of the most important battles of the Eastern Front, with more than 2.5 million troops and 6,000 tanks engaged on both sides, during which the largest tank battle in military history took place at Prokhorovka. Despite the apparent victory at Prokhorovka, there was no real success. The Germans were never able to take the area and break through the Soviet lines. Because the Allied invasions of Sicily began during the battle, the Germans was forced to divert troops training in France to meet the Allied threat in the Mediterranean, rather than using them as a strategic reserve for the Eastern Front. Hitler cancelled the offensive at Kursk only after a week, in part to divert forces to Italy. Operation Roland, which followed immediately afterwards, failed at its goal to destroy the Soviet armored reserve massed in the southern sector of the Kursk salient. The operation was ultimately a failure when the Soviets launched a major offensive on 17 July across the Meuse and Donets rivers against the southern wing of Army Group South, bringing the situation to a critical point. News from the front line: the Ivans are approaching Meuse and Donets, and they will cross the rivers soon. And in the morning there was a telegram from the back that the Mussolini regime in Italy had fallen. Although it hadn't done anything yet, it was effectively out of the war. In order to maintain the defense line, we have to also send troops to Italy. We were already struggling to hold out here. How could we possibly have the leisure left to look after the macaronis in the southern Europe? The Führer agreed to abandon Oriol, and SS will be sent to take care of Italy. We'll hold the Hagen line. Although I can understand the decision on a strategic perspective, but our sacrifice so far would have been in vain. The momentum is turning against us. The situation around us is getting worse and worse, and it won't help if we all died holding on tactically indefensible position. It's better to redirect efforts to fight in places we can stand firm. I understand that, it's just abandoning this place means we admit failure. This is war. I don't mean to be a downer, but the way things are going, I really think the future could be. We all know that, that's why we have to do everything we can to avoid the worst possible outcome. Mein Gott, ich hoffe es. Ultimately, there was no German breakthrough in the Kursk salient, becoming the first time in the Second World War that a major German offensive was halted before it could break through the enemy with defense and penetrate into their operational or strategic depths. Having failed to achieve its objective, Hitler, despite the advice of his commanders, cancelled Operation Citadel and began redeploying its forces to deal with the new pressing developments elsewhere. With the end of Operation Citadel, the strategic initiative permanently swung over to the Soviet Union for the rest of the war. During Operation Citadel, 54,182 casualties were suffered by the Germans. A total of 111,114 casualties were suffered throughout the Soviet offensives. The Soviet losses during the German offensive were 177,877. During the latter Soviet offensives, total casualties amounted to 685,456. The Red Army had lost 5 armored vehicles for every German Panzer destroyed. Although the Soviets still suffered more losses than the Germans, the difficult campaign allowed them to mature in terms of technology and command systems, and eventually take the strategic initiatives. The Soviet Union continued its massive offensive, regaining much of the lost territory since 1943, and in November it regained Kiev, thus reversing the tide. After the Panzer Division was transferred out of Operation Citadel, you took the opportunity to retreat from the front line. After experiencing through the mud and death of the Eastern Front, you developed a strong bond with your fellow Kameraden. Whatever fate lies ahead, until the day you die, you will always be brothers and sisters in arms. The Panzer Knights who rode together through blizzard or storm, or in sun warm and bright, with spirits never fade. That's from the Panzer lead. Panzer Vor. And that was the last of the campaign missions. There is also a reserve side mission that we're gonna do next time. Attack the village and ensure that Otto's vehicle is not destroyed. Alright, but let's go to garage. We've got lots of medals now. Gonna unlock this. Okay. And might as well unlock this, because why not? And I'm gonna get my crew, my favorite crew. And some camo. Alright. Oh yes. This is nice. Anyway, that's it for this episode. We're gonna do the side mission next, and that will be the end of this game, I think, because there's no more to it. I guess I well, there's more like friendship things to unlock by playing through the missions with other crew members, but I'm not sure if I want to do all of them, at least not for video purposes. I do like the Tiger 2, it's one of my favorite tanks, and yeah, I know it had issues in real life, but I just like the way it looks, okay? Doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Goodbye, and take care.